Mountain View Correctional Institution. This call will be monitored and recorded for customer assistance, collection, or complaint procedures, or to block future. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
This is Patricia
And April.
What can we call you? We see that we don't have a name here on your letter that you wrote us.
Just call me Slim.
Slim. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
The phone recording said that you're located at Mountain View Correctional. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is.
Okay, I was just wanting to confirm because as of the date of this interview, which is 1/31/25, North Carolina Department of Adult Corrections website for this facility indicated that due to the impact of Hurricane Helene, all offenders are transferred from this facility until further notice.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's weird. We've been here almost 2 weeks now.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How long were you housed at Mountain View Correctional prior to Hurricane Helene hitting?
Well, I got here in June of 2022. So June would have been 2 years.
Okay.
If we went there. So about like 18 months maybe.
All right.
Okay, got
When
it.
the storm came.
And so then when the hurricane hit or when it was on the way, were you or any of the inmates, were you guys informed by any staff or did you guys know about what was happening?
Absolutely. Not until it was too late. I had been listening to the radio a little bit, but as soon as it started storming, shortly thereafter the power had went out, so we really didn't have no way to really prepare. I mean, I guess they probably knew beforehand, but
Do you know if
by
that's
the time,
like normal
when
protocol? Like they just don't announce it to maybe not strike a riot or anything to upset anybody? Or do they normally like announce those things?
Well, I've experienced this one other time when I was at Scotland Correctional when the storm hit, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And they let us know ahead of time. They brought everybody like 5 or 6 bottles of water beforehand. And, just let you know, like prepare, ran canteen for us, let us get, buy canteen because they knew the power was getting ready to probably be out. And they were, and then every day after that, we'd get a few bottles of water every day.
Right.
And like, it was crazy because like when the storm first hit here, they had cases of water in the canteen warehouse. And for the first 3 days, we literally only got 1 8-ounce styrofoam cup of water. And they said, when we were asking about the water, because like I was lucky because like as soon as the power went out and I knew I got all the water out of the sink, you filled up a bunch of mini bottles, my bowl, and everything, like getting all the water because I knew what time it was going to be bad. I didn't realize it was going to be days, but so I was lucky. But
So
So
you said you were listening to your radio and that's how you found out?
That the storm was coming, yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness!
That's the
How
only
were you
reason I knew that.
feeling? How were you feeling when you found out? You're listening to your radio. No one's announced it. No one's told you anything, and you hear that a hurricane's coming. What are you thinking? Are you trying to prepare? What's going through your mind?
Well, I didn't realize how serious it was. I mean, I knew that I had to get the water saved up, and as soon as it started really like blowing and raining bad, they went ahead and called Code 1, which is lockdown, and put everybody in their cell. So, and then, like I said, the first day the power went out, I believe it was either, that night or early the next morning. And so we wake up and there's no power, no light, no way to use the phone. That's what I was really worried about, is my family. Like I didn't have no way to know what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all the radio stations stopped working except like a couple little emergency stations. So you couldn't find out the limited stuff. So it was definitely a traumatizing experience. And then the cells the windows in the cells leak. I mean, even now, if it's storms real hard, they still leak. But at that time, I mean, literally like water standing in the cells. Like.
Right. So from what you've
having
seen,
used like
from what you've seen leading up, when you first realized that there was a hurricane coming, did you notice staff or any of North Carolina Department of Corrections staff trying to prepare in any type of way for
What was happening?
what anybody would
No.
do to prepare for a hurricane?
Right.
The only thing they did really I could say to prepare is lock us in our cells. Honestly, I mean maybe that's protocol. I don't know what but that's the only thing they did. I mean,
So you guys weren't given
and I thought,
supplies or anything to prepare, or did they do anything to try to prepare you?
no,
Nothing.
absolutely
So
not.
that you guys were on your own. That's
No,
why you
no.
were in your cell trying to get the water and.
Not even one little bottle of water and be like, here, go in your cell. There's a hurricane
Nothing.
coming.
Nothing.
Like I said, in the first 3 days, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, the first 3 days, we literally got 1 8-ounce styrofoam cup of water. And they said they had to get permission. This is the reason they said and now when I say they had cases of water in their canteen warehouse, I'm talking about like bunches of cases. And that's how they ended up giving them to us, like a few days after the fact.
Right.
But they said they had to get permission before they could take the water out of their warehouse.
They had to get permission to
rather
give you guys
than-
water, so you only got one water to divvy up for 3 days?
Yes, ma'am.
What about
Absolutely.
taking a shower?
No showers. We were literally like, at first we didn't get no trash bags or anything. We were having to. I was using the bathroom in bags and we wrapped it up in t-shirts while throwing it out the trash.
Yeah.
But some people weren't very smart. They used the bathroom in their toilets, so they just had to, stuff sit in their toilets. And when I say it stunk. But then after like 4 or 5 days, they started passing out trash bags. And we'd get you to use the bathroom in the trash bag and then throw it out the trash. And the guys that had used the bathroom in their toilets, they gave them an extra trash bag, and you would have to.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
You take the trash bag, and would give, like I said, I was reluctant because I'd use that in but the guys that did, they would give them an extra trash bag, and they would wrap it around the toilet, filled up with air, and they would twist it where it would be tied around the toilet seat, and then push on it. And it would push it down a little bit, like trying to, because it was, I mean, you can imagine 600 people in one building using the bathroom, and I mean, it was rough. It was stinking,
Yeah.
And, I mean, plus you had to eat. You had to eat in the cell with that mess. I mean, it was crazy.
Gosh.
It was
Yeah.
definitely, there's a couple incidents where they actually sprayed guys, and I don't know if you've ever been pepper sprayed, but it's not a good experience, especially when you've not got the water to wash it off with,
Aren't you supposed to wash your eyes out after that's done?
Why are they pepper spraying people?
Because people they're getting mad, you were locked in cells, but the thing is, no matter how mad a man gets inside of a cell, he's not out where there's nobody out where you can put your hands on the police or do nothing to him, so why would you spray anybody,
Yeah.
Especially because there's no water.
Oh my gosh.
No water, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And you're getting pepper spray and you can't even wash your face and wash that out of your eyes? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. According to news reports, on September 26, 2024, Hurricane Helene makes landfall in Florida. Then on September 27, 2004, Hurricane Helene makes landfall in western North Carolina, where Mountain View Correctional is located in Spruce Pine. So tell us about your experience as Hurricane Helene bears down on Spruce Pine while you're confined in prison there. What are your thoughts as the hurricane? I mean, are you hearing it? Is there water coming in? What's happening?
The power's out. Is the lights flick? Like, what's going on?
Man, it was definitely a traumatizing experience. Yeah, the water, it started flooding immediately. Like the first few hours, like even now, like I said, like if it rains for an hour or two hard, it's gonna start. But this situation, it was, when I say there's a few inches of water, and they're letting a couple of the guys out to help pass out little food when they start passing out water. But they would have the guys come out every few minutes and just mop up, the best they could, like. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely flooded. It was definitely I mean, it's just a bad feeling not knowing, like I said, not being able to communicate with anyone is terrible, you know, not knowing what's going on out there with his family and stuff. But like I said, when I say they were just feeding us this bare minimum, I'm talking about, there's some days we might get 2 pieces of bread, an apple, and a peanut butter for breakfast and lunch, you know, like, and I understand, you know, whatever. But, and it's crazy, the day when we evacuated, the officers, they still cooking. I'm talking about when I say they're cooking chicken and hamburgers and stuff with the kitchen food. All the perk team and the officers, when they got here, they're all eating food at the kitchen. I'm talking about, and that's what I didn't understand. Is like, y'all got the means to fix food for all these other people. Then, I mean, why are we having to not hardly eat nothing, you know?
Speaking of the officers, so when the hurricane touched down, what's happening with staff? Are the officers still there? Are they evacuating? Or what's going on with the staff?
Most of them were here. There was a few, like there's one older fella here, that Mr. Garland, Mr. McNitch. There's a handful of them that they got gone pretty quick. You know, they was like, we're getting out of here, because I guess they knew it was about to be bad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we're getting out of here. Mr. Slagle, he left. The superintendent, he didn't stay. You know, he got the heck out of here. He was here at first. Like, when all this first started happening, you seen him a little bit. Like, when it first started just storming a little bit, you seen him. And the next thing you know, he was gone. Everybody's like, oh, I want to talk to the unit manager, the Slagle or whatever. And he's gone. You know, he's not here no more. So he knew something was getting ready to go down enough to get himself out of Dodge, you know?
Yeah. Are they coming around checking on you guys?
I mean, every few hours or so, 3 or 4 hours. I mean, like at meal calls, but you know, they were kind of panicking too. I think, you know, you could just feel it. You could just tell, like, everybody was panicking. You know, like I don't know, like it seems like they could have been better prepared for sure. You know, like, you know, a hurricane's coming, right. And but yeah.
What about as far as meals?
Tell us too, Slim. How many inmates were in the cell? So, did you have somebody in your cell with you, or no?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's all single cell here. Like, it used to be double cell, but like when the COVID and stuff hit, and they have a lot of trouble with the sewer. Even now, they have a lot of trouble with the sewer with stuff backing up. So I guess with it having the double bunks, it was too much. Because this was before I got here, but this is back around the COVID time. They said they literally had to put porta johns on the yard for people to use bathrooms for like 2-3 weeks because the sewage system was messed up.
What about inmate segregation cells flooded just the same as you were saying that your cells were flooding?
I'm not certain on that, but I imagine, I'm quite sure, because I mean, everything's set up the same way. I mean, the cells, the windows. I'm quite sure that it was probably about the same situation for them, you know?
Yeah.
It was about like we were all in segregation, honestly, but worse, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because, like you said, you're single cell, and then they've locked you down in your cell, so.
And during this time, how many hours a day were you locked down? During the hurricane?
The whole time. We never come out of cell for the whole week. We never come out of our cell. Period.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Like I said, there was maybe 2 guys that they would let out to mop up the water and do stuff that they needed to help doing, like pass out stuff, water or whatever. But no, they didn't open our doors, period. For those whole 6 days, from the 26th until, I guess, the 2nd is when we left, they never popped their doors for anything, period.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
so you know,
yeah, it was
high.
just generators. Yeah, they had the generators, which that runs like, there's like maybe 2 little small lights out in the day room, but nothing in the cell at all. Dark. And that was the crazy part. Is like, during the day you could make do, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I wrote a lot of letters. Because you could see to write and to read and stuff like that. But after it got dark, you know, you was in the dark totally, you know.
Right. Speaking of letters, Slim, how was it as far as contacting your family? Was that your only form of contact during this time?
Yes, ma'am. There was no way to contact our family because the phones weren't working, and we couldn't mail any letters out, obviously. So, no, there was no way to contact anyone at all, period.
But you mentioned that the prisons had generators. I mean, I just wonder, like, couldn't they have turned the generators on to power the phones so that y'all could have talked to your loved ones, checked on them, and vice versa?
Right.
You think that would have worked, but I honestly, I recall a couple of the officers, people asking them about stuff like along those lines, and they would say that they were using the generator to run like the basic. And I guess the basic, I don't know what it consisted of, because there wasn't a whole lot.
You didn't.
You know what I mean? It was kind of. It was.
You saw nothing.
Yeah, like right, nothing. That's what I'm saying. Even water, like I don't know what they were using it for, like. And then like 3 or 4 days after, like the storm, I guess they had run out of diesel fuel, or were getting ready to, and they were, I guess, finally got somebody to bring some, because they were to the point where they were like, we don't know what we're gonna do. Like the generator getting ready to run out of fuel, and we don't know what we're gonna do. And I guess finally they got somebody to fly them some diesel fuel. I don't know how they got it up here. I don't know.
Right.
But they did get some.
And during like the toughest part of the hurricane, when it was the worst, what was your mental like? How was your anxiety?
Off the charts. Like I'm pretty good at staying calm most of the time, but this right here, I was like, it's just a bad thought. You're locked in a cell. It's flooding. I'm not a very good swimmer. I can tell you that now. Like, honestly, like it was a bad experience. Like forget that you're hungry. I mean, I had a couple soups in here. Luckily for the first couple of days, it's all right. But yeah, I mean, you're sitting, you're hungry. You're worried about your family. You're flooding. I mean, and you can't get out of your cell. It was bad. Not to mention that you can't even, like, literally, when they did finally start giving us bottles of water, they would give us one in the morning, a 16-ounce bottle of water, one in the morning, one at lunch, one at dinner. And you'd have to choose to use a little bit to brush your teeth. I mean, I've got to brush my teeth.
Right.
So you would have to use a little bit, drink a little bit, brush your teeth a little bit, but you definitely couldn't use none to wash off with. You got a couple bottles of water a day. You got to ration that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6, 7 days, and it was bad. No showers, smelling like all kinds of sewage and everything. It was rough. It was traumatizing. It's definitely. I mean, even now, I've got 6, 7 bottles of water lined up here in the corner of my room.
Just in case.
Definitely.
You're ready. You're ready. You're prepared now.
I'm ready. I'm talking about, and that's definitely traumatizing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like anxious thinking about it, like claustrophobia on 1,000, because you can't get out. So if it floods all the way and it's rising, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And clearly banging and yelling for them to come let you out.
Only get you maced.
Yeah, you're gonna get maced. So can't do that.
Yeah.
So walk us through the evacuation process. When you finally were evacuated, where did you go? How was that? Explain it to us.
Did you say 6 days before you got evacuated?
Yes, ma'am. We left on it's probably around.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
On October the 2nd, and they started probably maybe 12 o'clock, give or take a little bit. They started floor by floor, block by block. You still, I think, 32 or 34 people on each bus. And they just started rolling us out. And we rode the bus that day. I mean, we went to Pamlico Correctional first, which is down near, like, the beach. And we rode the bus probably like 10 or 11 hours. Like, we got to there, it was probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And and when I say even to the moment that we were leaving, like the minute we were leaving, there was this guy, his last name's Bullard, and he was mad because he hadn't had his medicine. I guess he takes kind of mental health meds, and he hadn't had meds in a few days, like, because they had run out of some. Literally, my buddy, he takes blood pressure medicine. They had run out of his medicine. They didn't have no way to get their medicine, So he was raising Cain about not getting his medicine, kicking his door and stuff. And they literally sprayed it through the trap. Now that they put the trays in your door and put the big old can of spray in there and sprayed it.
Because he wanted his medicine that he needed?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. And he was kicking the door, and he was screaming and kicking the door. But the thing is they tell us that they're not supposed to use the taser or the pepper spray, and we're threatening them or trying to harm them.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to do that when we're locked in a cell.
No.
We're locked in a cell with no water to wash the stuff off with, and that stuff is rough. It's not a good experience.
Yeah.
And
Well, for the ones that did take
Not to mention-
medication and had health problems, did they evacuate them first?
no, absolutely not. This is a guy. I actually had the job pushing this guy at the time. His name is Bobby Johnson. Robert Johnson's his real name, and he had a boot on his foot where he had some kind of surgery on his foot, and so he's trying to take his wheelchair with him. And when I say they literally pulled him up out of his wheelchair and pushed the wheelchair off and it rolled up and hit the wall. And I'm not even going to say exactly how they said it, but basically it says, if you say anything else, we're going to spray you. You're not taking your effing wheelchair. Like,
What?
I'm talking about straight up. Said that we didn't have room for the wheelchair on the bus. Because what they did, they gave us one, like, a shipping bag, which is probably like the size of a grocery bag. And they said you can take one bag with you.
That's what I was going to ask you. What did you?
Here.
Yeah, did you get to take all your personal items, at least your letters, things that are of value?
Family pictures, things like that.
Well, I mean, you could pick what you wanted to put in that bag. Whatever. Some people, that's what I took was my pictures and my letters
How big
and
was the bag again?
my basic hygiene. But, man,
How big was this bag?
We're trying to
I'm
picture
trying to figure out what I'm gonna put in there.
Yeah.
it's like a grocery, like a plastic grocery bag, about the same size.
Oh no, that ain't big enough.
And they said,
Now you gotta choose between
the
your
rest you can be
deodorant
packed up in your cell.
or some.
Yeah, I know, right? And some people didn't get their property. Like, I was lucky. Like, the stuff I left behind, like a month after we got to Pamlico, probably 3 to 4 weeks, give or take. We started getting a property coming in. Some people didn't get their property. Some people, whatever. I don't know what happened, but a lot of people did, and a lot of people didn't.
Oh my goodness.
And there's no way to prove what you had or what was lost or anything. There's no kind of property sheet done or nothing. So you just,
Yeah.
short.
So when you were transferred to Pamlico, what happens there? Are you taken to your own cell? How are you housed there? Is it any better than the conditions in the mountains?
Well, the condition as far as the prison, the prisons are, Pamlico and Mountain View are built identical. Like the way that the cells that I'm talking about, 100% identical. So when we got there, they had 2 open blocks there that were totally empty. So when we got there, we were double bunked. Like, they put us double bunks, and then more people started coming in because I guess they had they evacuated Avery Mitchell first, is what I think I was told, and then they sent some all to different places. But they filled 2 units up down there, and it was definitely better once we got there. It was still kind of crazy, but it was better than. To be honest with you, just the officers were better,
Yeah.
Like, it's always like that. Like, I don't know why it's like that in the mountains. Like, it's always these police up in the mountains. Like, Mountain View, Avery Mitchell, Alexander, they're just mean. It's like, and I've been to some, like, since I've been locked up in 2013, I've been to Lanesboro, which I'm sure you know about Lanesboro. I've been to Scotland, and I've been to Whiteville. And all 3 of them are totally different types of prisons. Like, here, the police is what you got to worry about. At those prisons, it's the inmates. You had to stay on your toes for. But
Wow.
it's like,
So.
it was a kind of a relief.
I bet it
Yeah.
was a relief to get out of there. That were transferred after the hurricane, were they offered any type of medical treatment or mental health treatment?
No, ma'am. The only thing when we first got there was the basic, like, intake process where they take your blood pressure, take your temperature, weigh you, but no anything past that. No, ma'am, absolutely not. And even after we got there, like, the guys that were out of their medication stuff, it still took over a week at least, maybe more than that, for them to get their medication and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
You would think,
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
after a
It's,
flood, being being confined in areas where, one, there's stagnant water,
Right.
and two, there could also
Right.
be feces in that stagnant water
Right.
of other people, that there would be a whole slew of blood tests or something whenever you go to another facility where you're able to get medical treatment.
Right.
And none of that
Right.
occurred.
Right. No, ma'am, absolutely not.
So when you get to this
I mean,
new facility,
maybe if they would.
do they give you the things that you need because you've had to leave everything behind? Do they give you clothing and all the stuff that you would normally get, or they're just like, here, you can lay here because they know you're not going to be there that long?
Yeah, they didn't give us nothing. I mean, clothes, when we got there, like when we first was getting ready to evacuate, they told us, they said you can take one bag and you need to take 2 pairs of boxers and 2 T-shirts. And that's all we took with us. So when we got there, they gave us some more clothes and stuff, but that was it. I mean, that was it. I mean,
Okay.
that was the extent of the help. I mean, they didn't do nothing.
About
They didn't
how
do
long
nothing at
were
all.
you at Pamlico?
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
I was there from October the 2nd until, I want to say mid-November, maybe. I can find out exactly. I did have it wrote down, but
It's okay.
Oh.
So after being at Pamlico, what happens? Is everybody that was transferred there then transferred out somewhere else?
Well, I guess while we were at Pamlico, there was a handful of the officers from Mountain View and Avery Mitchell that were coming there and working. So we're getting bits and pieces of stuff from them, and they're basically, my mind went blank for a second. Oh, my Lord.
No, you're
What was
fine.
the question again?
You're fine.
Well, back up before I ask that question again. While you're at Pamlico, were you able to file a grievance on the things that had happened during the hurricane? Any wrongdoing or anything like that? Were you able to file a grievance?
Or if not you, could anybody,
Yeah.
could any of the inmates do that?
Well, at first I didn't. I kept hearing people talk about it and stuff, and then my wife told me, I guess she had seen something on the chat room or whatever, and about the process for filing the grievance and the time that you have to do it, everything. So I filed one myself. But at first, they were trying to say, basically, oh, y'all don't need to file grievances. We're going to get everything took care of. Basically, they were trying to, because I guess you got 90 days after an incident is what I was told to file a grievance. So
Yeah.
I guess they were trying to buy time. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, because they're not supposed to tell you can't file a grievance anyway. That's supposed to be your right. If
Yeah,
you got a problem, you're supposed to file a grievance.
because this is way past 90 days past the hurricane. Did they do anything to right any wrongs?
No, man.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. And
So they were basically blowing
basically,
smoke by saying,
they seem to
not
think
to file a
that,
grievance.
yeah, right. I mean, they seem to think that, like there's nothing wrong. That's the way they seem to they act like, oh, it's just the way it is. Like that's basically what they were telling us. Like
Yeah.
everybody, everybody was going through stuff that, like basically like tough luck type stuff.
Yeah.
Slim, did you or any of the inmates, did you guys fear, or in fear of putting in a grievance? Was there any retaliation for putting in a grievance?
I mean, other than, like I said, once we got to Craigie, there was still people trying to put grievances in and stuff. And there was guys there's some of the officers that are really just mean, And so there's a couple of the guys, like I said, that were telling them, like, cussing them and, talking junk to them and whatever. And they told them, they was like, okay, when we get you back over across the mountain, stuff like that, or if we was at Mountain View, I would drag you off camera and do this and kick your butt or whatever. Like, I heard that myself. And when we got back here, and I can get you a couple of guys that can contact you too that experienced this, that they got here and they immediately got put in a cell and sprayed and beat up. And I'm talking about Duncan Dula. I'm definitely giving him your information, because he's still in segregation right now.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about when I say he's beat up, they beat him up. I mean, like, he's in segregation right now, beat up 10 days later.
But all because of what? Or do you know?
I know that I personally heard Officer Wiseman tell him, when we get back, if we was at Mountain View, I would drag you off camera and kick your butt. I heard him. And when he got here, that's what they did. Immediately.
Oh, my God.
I'm talking about before we ever got, when I say, like, I don't know how many people they got done to total, but I'm talking about off of my bus, 8 people got pulled off the bus immediately, put in segregation, and sprayed. Like, I mean, there's a cell up front right now that you can see the shape of like 6 or 7 people on the wall where they literally just been standing against the wall and been sprayed.
So you're back at Mountain View now, but whenever you left Mountain View before, you go to Pamlico Correctional, you stay there for a while, then are you transferred back to Mountain View from Pamlico, or you go somewhere else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Where else
we
do
went
you go?
from there to we went from Pamlico, we went to Craigie Correctional, which is in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I guess it had been evacuated also when the storm hit, and it was minimum custody, green clothes. So when we got there was nobody there. Okay, and it was biggest part of the officers there were Mountain View and Ava Mitchell officers, you know. So and then we left there and come here. Tuesday was a week. Come
Okay,
back
so
on
you
the
haven't,
20,
you haven't
it's
been
been
there long.
No, ma'am, about 10 days, 10, 11 days.
What happened to your belongings that you had to leave behind that didn't fit in your grocery bag? Did you ever get those back?
Yeah, like walk us through, like when you get back to the prison, how does this work? Do they take you back to your cell and just let you go see if you can find your things? Do they appoint you a new cell? How do you get your stuff?
Well, like I said, I was one.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
And like when we got to Pamlico, probably about a month after we got there, property started coming in. Not all at one time. Like, you know, it'd be a little bit here, a little bit there. And I was lucky enough, I got my other bag. But a lot of people did not get their bags, you know?
Yeah.
Like they told us, they was like, put your name on the bag, put it in your locker, and leave it there, and it'll get brought to you. And some people never got this stuff, you know?
Mm. Okay, so
and there's no way to prove, you know, what you had, you know?
Yeah. All right, so explain getting back. What happens? Is there any kind of retaliation? You did mention some with inmates being pepper sprayed straight out of the gate whenever they're taken off the bus. Is there any other things going on now that you're back at Mountain View Correctional, retaliatory type actions from correctional staff?
Since you told us that they did threaten that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and there's definitely, like, right now, like, there's people, I guess, that they feel like have done stuff or brought stuff back with them from the other places or whatever. So they're hard on that here. Like, if they think they're doing anything, they're going to, and they've been harassing me. I mean, honestly, like, for example, out of the past 4 days, not including today, yesterday and the prior 3 days, 3 of those 4 days they've drug tested me, and not just me now. It's a bunch of them. And I passed my drug test. I mean, I didn't fail, but I mean, I don't care if they drug test me really every day. But
what do you mean they drug tested you?
You said the drug test?
Yeah. What do they have to have probable cause, or they just said, "Hey, come on, you're gonna take a drug test"?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. No, but that supposedly now I don't know how true. They say they're not supposed to do it. Like if they do it one day, they're supposed to not do it for like 6 days or something like that. But I don't know what the rule is on it. But I know they did 3 out of 4 days. And then yesterday, there was like 7 or 8. They searched 2 whole blocks. There's 7 or 8 of us that they took up front and put in the little holding cages. So they're calling us in one by one, trying to get us to talk to them and tell them shit. Tell them stuff. And
you're fine.
I'm not telling them nothing. Even if So I'm not telling these people nothing. You know what I mean? I mind my own business. I don't bother nobody. I try to stay out of the way. So it's just an example of the kind of stuff they're doing. So I just told them, look, I've not got nothing to say. I was respectful about it. I was like, I don't know anything. They're like, well, we know y'all got a phone in there, a cell phone. I'm like, I don't know nothing about my phone. If I had a phone, I wouldn't be calling home 10 times a day.
Yeah.
So anyway, so one of the other guys that Lieutenant Hughes is one of the guys that is supposed to be, he's really the second command below the warden. And so he goes and tells this other guy, because I wasn't telling nothing, he drug tests the other guy. He tells him that he got drug tested because I told him he was using drugs, Right. It was just an absolute total lie. You know what I mean? And I guess he's trying to get someone else to, retaliate against me or do something to me. And I've never told nothing on nobody. Like, that's just, it really bothers me. And that's the kind of stuff they do. Like, if you make them mad, and another example, like, little guy that's in the set block with me right now, he was talking junk to him last night while they were searching, and they come in there, took one of his books. It's a regular old book now, tested it, and said, oh, yeah, it's positive for meth.
The book?
And he's done got the write-up for it and everything. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And these tests that they use to test for the drugs and stuff, they know they're not right. Because Officer Garland, he works on today. He'll be here tomorrow, too. He worked today on day shift. He told me out of his own mouth, because I guess this has been going on. Like, when I was here before, people, like, if they got mad at you, they would just come in and pick a random piece of paper out of your room. And this is a true story. I know it sounds like a bunch of crap. If I wasn't living it, I wouldn't believe it neither. But they know these tests are not right. They know they're not right. They're like, Officer Garland told me, he said, we tested an envelope, a regular state-made envelope, prison envelope, and it tested positive. So if you know that, then why are you still using these tests? And and it's jeopardizing these people's freedom, you know what I mean? Because I've done seen people get street charges for that too. Like right now, they're just writing people up. You'll get an A12 charge, A12 write-up, which is still not good, And the only person that tested it is the same officers that are doing this crap. The lieutenant, the captain, they're the ones doing it.
Right.
It's not got to go to nobody else. It's not got to go to no lab, or it's not got to go to Raleigh, or it's not got to go to nowhere. They say, oh, this is positive. That's it. That's the end of it right there.
Wow.
They write you up, and you're screwed. And then you go to you get your write up, and then guess who you go in front of for your write up? Same people. The same people.
Wow.
It's crazy. And I'm not talking about just an isolated incident. Like, people are getting really beat up and hurt.
So, the tension's high. The inmates they've lost their personal belongings. They've been transferred here and there. They're back. Tension's still high, and they're being abused for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Give us another example of something that you've witnessed.
Okay. Just like, for example, the guys, when we got there, I can say it's either 32 or 34 people on a transfer bus. Okay. When we got here last week, 8 of the 32 or 34 people off of my bus, they picked them out. As soon as they come off, it was the ones that they'd already, I guess, they'd been giving them problems at Craigie or at Pimlico, and they already had them marked down, which ones they were going to get. And they was like, as soon as we come off the bus, before they even took the shackles off of us or anything, they said, you, come on. And I literally, when I was up there in intake yesterday when they were drug testing stuff, there's literally, like I said, teeth.
Teeth?
That's what I told them.
Did you say teeth?
And one and a half teeth laying up there. It's been there for the whole time. I'm talking about it's been there, and that's what I told my wife that I think yesterday. I was like, if someone could just come up here and see. They don't. It's like they don't care. And then, like I said, they keep saying all they said. Oh, Raleigh can't see over the mountain. They literally do what they want to up there. And if you try to buck or fight the situation, you're going to either get beat up, you're going to get sprayed, you're going to get your book's got drugs in it. You're going. No way are you going to win.
In that case,
it's kind of worrying.
When that abuse happens,
Huh?
so I just get my teeth knocked out. do I get to go to medical? Then does the nurse help me file a grievance, or am I scared to death to even say anything? That's what I'm asking you. Are the inmates afraid to report this abuse?
I mean, it's not going to do any good. Cause, I mean, you're talking about Captain Buchanan and Lieutenant Hughes. There's the top people here, and they're the main ones doing this stuff. They might, like, that's my word. Just yesterday, when I was up there getting drug tested, and Lieutenant Hughes is standing there, and the unit manager, Mr. Bullis, he's standing there, assistant unit manager, and he's telling him, "Come on, Mr. Bullis, please let me take his handcuffs off for just 1 minute." And Mr. Bullis was like, "No." Luckily, there's a decent one there, because the only other ones there was Hughes, Lieutenant Hughes, and Captain Buchanan, you know? Like, if it wouldn't have been Mr. Bullis, and the bad part about that is in a situation like that, not only are you going to get beat up, because he's not got no win, you know, I mean, but you might get a street charge. I mean, there's no telling what might happen, and that worries me more than anything, because, I mean, you know, I'd rather get my butt whooped than get another street charge, you know, and get more time, you know, that's.
Yeah.
And it's just a lose-lose situation, and it's really scary. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's really scary because,
it
and
is.
I mean, I try to.
Somebody could lose their life
worries me.
behind this. You know, we just covered not long ago Curtis Moore, who lost his life at Albemarle Correctional from staff beatings. So yeah, this is very serious. This could be life-threatening.
Oh my.
From the standpoint of the inmate,
Yeah,
it's like, what do you do? It's like you have to walk around on eggshells, it sounds like. You can't upset them at all, because the moment you do, it's over for you. There's no telling what they might do.
Where are these teeth located? I mean, is this somewhere that... Don't look at me like that.
Where's the teeth? They're on the floor. They're not in their mouth.
Where are these teeth, though?
And that's why
are they like? Is this like an intake area where they're
she
like?
Wants to know if you collected them. And
no.
Was it
there's nothing up here but prison. Really, I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Right,
we're in the middle of
nowhere.
nowhere.
Was it at the intake center, or was it like where did this happen?
Was it like here's your things, and come over here, we're gonna give you a beating and pepper spray you, and
you might lose your teeth? Don't say nothing.
I mean, that's way, honestly, I mean, and it wasn't just random. It was the ones that they had picked out, you know, the ones that had been giving them problems while we were at Craigie, problems while we were at Pamlico, and they couldn't beat them up there, you know, because there was other officers there. They couldn't get by with there. But
you said that when they took these, you said the officers, when they arrived back, they pointed out a few inmates. They took them off. What happened? I didn't hear you say that. They took them out, and what did they do?
Say that one more time. Repeat that one more time, please.
When you guys arrived back at the prison, Mountain View, and you said that the officers already had certain ones picked out, and they took them off the bus. They get them in. What did they do to them?
I mean, all I've seen was the after effects of the intake cell that they took them to. Where we were lined up in the hallway there, they took them to the intake cell, you know? So.
Oh, okay. So.
All I know is.
Might be one of their teeth.
I've seen the after. Yeah, so everybody couldn't see. Well, and the crazy part is once you go into the intake area, there are no cameras, period.
What?
The whole intake area, there's no cameras. No, ma'am, absolutely.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
So you see teeth
and
on the ground, and you said you saw what? What else?
Teeth. And there's shapes of people on the wall. Like this cell, the intake cell, they're probably like maybe 10 foot by 6 or 8 feet maybe. And when I say there's literally like 7 or 8 shapes of people on the wall where they just literally like put themselves and they're standing against the wall and they spray them.
Shapes of people, like
the pepper spray. Like,
from getting pepper spray?
Yes, ma'am. When I tell you, it's like this. As of last night now, I don't know, but it's been like this the whole time we've been here. The teeth are still in the Inmate Tea, bro. I told you. That's them right now. Tell about all the crap going on up here. That's my homeboy Casey. That was the one I was telling you the first letter I seen with that y'all had wrote out. Casey Dial. But yeah,
tell him
but
he
literally
needs,
like
yeah, he needs to come on and give his story too.
Right. So then did you get to communicate with any of those inmates to ask them what happened, or you can see them and you can see that they're beat up or they're hurting?
The only one that I've personally seen is this guy named Bobby. The rest of them are still in segregation. Well, when I was back there yesterday when they took me in drug testing, they kept me in the cell. Casey, the one that was just speaking to me, he's the other one that they made use the bathroom. It's like right in the middle of the floor. They took us both up there.
Wait. You didn't tell us about that. What happened?
Yeah. What happened? Say this.
Well, like, since we've got back up here, like normally at Mountain View, there's no kind of drugs, no kind of alcohol, no cigarettes. There's nothing up here. You know, as far as if you're trying to do anything extra. Well, now that we're back, I guess they feel like, regardless of why, they feel like people have brought stuff with them, you know?
Oh, brought things back to the prison with them?
Yes, ma'am. And which might be true, and, you know, regardless.
In the prison pocketbook?
They're trying to figure out. But they don't know. They can think anything, but they don't really know who. So they just run through, like I said, search blocks, drug testing people, and we just like there's like 7 or 8 of us, like the lucky few that they thought, okay, they definitely got something going on because maybe somebody's went and told them something, or they think, or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so they took 7 or 8 of us up there yesterday, drug tested, stripped us down. And I sit with me and my buddy there, Casey. We sit in the cell from like literally like about 11:30, 12 o'clock, 6:30 after shift change last night. And they put us each in a cell, and it's a cell with no water, no toilet. All it's got is a drain in the middle of the floor. So after it's done, they'll rinse it out. And if they think you got drugs, like, you know, in prison, I guess some people put stuff in their butt, you know.
Prison
so
pocketbook.
If they think you got, yeah. I mean, that's the only way to keep it, you know, if you really want it. So if they think you, they didn't get nothing from either one of us. We didn't have nothing, you know. So they put us in these cells, and they won't let you have no water, won't let you do no food or nothing until you use the bathroom in the floor.
What?
Wait, don't just, whoa. You can't go past that one. You just got to use the bathroom in the floor?
Yeah.
I need you to set this up for me. Are we just standing here? We're standing here. It's you, it's me, it's them, and you guys got to use the bathroom. Just use it in the floor. What is happening?
No, they just sit there and stare at you until you use the bathroom. I mean, literally put a chair in front of the cell, and you're sitting there with nothing but a pair of boxers on. And that's the part that made me mad, and I didn't have nothing but boxers on. I'm having to stand on this nasty floor, you know. But they didn't let either one of us go until we used the bathroom in the floor. And once we did that, we didn't have anything, and they eventually let us go, you know.
So you had to I'm sorry, I have questions. So you had to use the bathroom in front of them.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Like walk down in the floor in front of the police and use the bathroom before they'll let you out of the cell or get any food.
Yeah.
How do you prep for this? I'm sorry, I can prep for peeing, but if someone just asked me to go take a dump, I need prep. They couldn't give you some food. How do you just make yourself use the bathroom?
And not easy. Trust me, I was not comfortable, but you know it's something you got to do. I mean, you either gonna have to do it, or you're not. I mean, I don't know what the next step would be. You're gonna sit there for a few days. I know.
Do you have toilet paper?
No, they give it to you after the fact. When you go in there, you keep a pair of boxers. That's it. And I'm saying there's no bed in there. There's no chair, no table, no sink, no toilet. It's a concrete room with a drain in the middle of the floor.
And how many inmates are having to? Do you get privacy? To turn around, I gotta do it now. Are they in there? Other inmates in there too?
Oh no! Like when they do that, they've got 3 of these. They're like special cells in medical, and they're set up for that. Like I said, they've got nothing in them but a drain in the floor. That's it.
And you said that you're standing there on this nasty floor. So are you telling me that other inmates had to go in there and do that before you, and you're just standing there?
Absolutely. Oh. I mean, they spray it out or whatever they. Yeah, absolutely.
Is this standard procedure, or is this the first time you've ever experienced this at that camp?
I'll be honest with you. The only time I've ever seen it done, and I've been.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
It's here. It's here.
Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
Mountain View Correctional Institution. This call will be monitored and recorded for customer assistance, collection, or complaint. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
So Slim,
Hello?
hey, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
So Slim, you have given us all of the information. I mean, you've really laid it out for us, everything that it took place at Mountain View Correctional before the hurricane, during the hurricane, after, and now you're back. Is there anything else? People are going to watch this episode. Is there anything that you want people to hear or know? Anything else that you need to say surrounding this issue?
Well, I would just like to say, a lot of times, without people like you, we really don't have voices in here. And I mean, I know everyone's probably in prison for a reason. Everybody's made mistakes. But everybody's not bad people, everybody's not bad people, and we need more people like y'all, to help us, because stuff that's going on, I'm in here on all nonviolent charges. I got 30 years for some drugs and some stolen stuff and a gun, and it's bad enough that we're in prison,
Right. Yeah.
But we need more people like y'all to help us, because there's a lot of bad stuff going on,
Right.
They got the big thing that says to serve and protect. But that's not what they're doing, I mean, and I'm not going to say all of them. There might be a couple of good ones. But none of them are standing up against this stuff. They're all seeing all this stuff going on, and they're not doing nothing about it,
Right. Well, Slim,
we definitely need y'all's help.
after this episode airs, we can assure you that more than Raleigh is going to see over the mountain.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate it. I do. Well, just stay in touch with my wife, because I told her today, and I wasn't being funny. Like, I really just fear retaliation. I mean, like, honest to God, like.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
I mean, to the point where I'm using someone else's phone pen. You know what I mean? I mean, it's that serious. I mean, it really is. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's really that serious,
I hate that for you, but I am so proud of the fact that you knew that they could retaliate, and you have seen firsthand what they might do, but you still had the courage to come on and meet with us and talk about this, and I think that is very courageous. I think that's awesome, and you're helping more people than you know by doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of that thanks to y'all too, though, because honestly, if it wouldn't have been for y'all, I would have probably never even spoken about it, said nothing about it at all,
Right.
Well, Slim, we appreciate you. You did
I
an
definitely
awesome
appreciate
job.
y'all.
You did a great job. You definitely spilled the tea, and we pray that nothing comes about, no harm, nothing happens to you for talking to us and speaking your truth.
No, I appreciate it. Everything will be good. I appreciate everything y'all are doing for us.
You're very welcome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Slim.
All right.